That night, the atmosphere in the village of Mambo felt unusually heavy. Fina, her parents, and their close friends had returned home with broken hearts. After countless hospital visits, medical tests, and even meeting one of the best psychologists, they were no closer to finding a cure. Hope was slipping away, and silence filled their home. But while one family was losing hope, fate was quietly bringing help from an unexpected place. Far away, under the cover of darkness, a weary widow walked slowly along a lonely road. Beside her was her only child, a young girl no older than 10 years old. The little girl looked ordinary, but she possessed a mysterious gift that few people could understand. Their own village had turned against them. Whenever the little girl spoke about things that had not yet happened, her words always came true. At first, the villagers were amazed, but before long, amazement turned to fear. They began to call her cursed, a witch, and a child of dark powers. The widow tried everything to convince them that her daughter meant no harm. The girl never used her gift to hurt anyone, she simply saw things that others could not. But the frightened villagers refused to listen. Soon, rumors spread from house to house.
Please, I beg you, help me.
I cannot help you.
Some demanded that the mother and child be driven out before disaster struck the village. Others even threatened to burn them alive if they remained. With no one willing to protect them, the widow gathered the few belongings they had and fled with her daughter before sunrise. They traveled for days, crossing forests, rivers, and dusty roads until they finally reached a peaceful place called Mambo Village. Exhausted and with nowhere else to go, they entered the village that very night, hoping only for a safe place to rest and begin a new life. Neither the widow nor her daughter knew that their arrival was no coincidence.
Mommy, I am tired and hungry.
We'll soon eat and rest, my dear child. Let's first find a shelter for the night.
That night, when the widow and her little daughter finally arrived in Mambo Village, the whole village was fast asleep. The streets were deserted. The huts were dark. Even the chirping crickets had fallen silent, and it seemed as though every living creature had surrendered to the night. The village was as quiet as a grave. They wandered from one compound to another, searching for even the smallest shelter where they could rest until morning. Their legs ached from days of walking, and they could barely carry the few belongings they had left. Eventually, they came to the house where Fina lived. At the front of the house was a balcony. It would protect them from the cold night air. The widow looked around. Seeing no one awake, she quietly spread out their old blanket on the floor. "My child," she whispered softly, "let us rest here until morning."
Let us rest here until morning. At first light, we'll leave before anyone sees us.
Within moments, the two of them drifted into a deep sleep, exhausted from their long journey. Morning came. Normally, Fina's father never woke this early. Ever since Fina's mysterious illness began, he had lost the peace he once knew. Sleep had become a stranger to him. His mind was filled with one question that refused to go away. How could he save his daughter? Long before the rooster finished crowing, he quietly stepped outside, hoping the cool morning air would help him clear his troubled mind and think of what to do next. He feared that if they did not find a solution soon, Fina's condition would only grow worse. As he walked onto the balcony, he suddenly stopped. His eyes widened. There, lying on the floor, were a strange woman and a little girl sleeping peacefully under a worn-out blanket with only a small bundle of belongings beside them. For a brief moment, He wondered if he was still dreaming. Who were they? How had they entered his compound without anyone noticing? And why had they chosen his house out of every home in Mambo Village? Fina's father stood frozen for a few moments. Then, without saying a word, he quietly turned around and went back into the house.
Honey, come outside. You need to see this.
Still sleepy and confused, Fina's mother followed him. The moment she stepped onto the balcony, she stopped in surprise. A woman and a little girl were lying there asleep on a worn-out mat with only a small bundle of belongings beside them. Just then, the strangers slowly opened their eyes. The widow immediately realized they had been discovered. She quickly stood up, helping her daughter to her feet. "I'm so sorry," she said nervously, lowering her head.
I'm so sorry. Please forgive us for sleeping on your balcony. We meant no harm. We are strangers with nowhere to go. We only needed a place to rest for the night. We'll leave immediately.
Neither Fina's father nor her mother spoke. They simply stood there, silently watching the frightened mother and child. Thinking they had angered the homeowners, the widow hurriedly folded their mat while her daughter gathered their few belongings. They were about to leave when the little girl suddenly stopped. She slowly turned and looked straight into Fina's parents' eyes. In a calm but unusual voice, she said, "Your daughter." The words made them both stiffen.
Your daughter needs to be bathed. She must be cleansed from head to toe. Only then will she be set free. Only then will your family discover the answer you have been searching for.
Silence fell over the compound. Fina's parents stared at the little girl in complete shock. How could a child they had never met know they had a daughter? How could she possibly know that their family had been desperately searching for a cure? Before either of them could ask a single question, the widow rushed to her daughter's side and gently pulled her away.
My child, please stop. That's enough. I am so sorry. Please forgive us. I truly apologize. I'm so sorry. Please don't mind her. This is why we had to flee our village. Whenever she speaks like this, people become afraid. We barely escaped with our lives. We came to Mambo hoping to begin a new life.
But the little girl gently pulled her hand away. Looking once more at Fina's parents, she said quietly,
I cannot keep silent. If your daughter is not cleansed, her suffering will only grow worse. The answer you have been searching for is not far away. It is at your doorstep, but you need to calm down to see it.
With tears in her eyes, the widow quickly led her daughter away before another word could be spoken. Fina's parents remained standing on the balcony, watching them disappear down the dusty road. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Finally, Fina's mother broke the silence. Could it be true? Her husband looked in the direction the strangers had gone, his heart filled with questions.
After everything we've tried, could that little girl's message be the answer we've been waiting for?
And what is her daughter to be cleansed of? That no one knows. That very day, Fina's father asked some questions and he was directed to the best water priestess in town for the purification ritual.